Alright, what's up guys? My name is Kyle. This is my introduction video to my podcast I'm starting. The series is going to be called My Mom Can't Find Out. Basically, I'm going to tell everything from when I first started smoking weed, when I first started getting depressed and everything, until my life now. And I'm mostly just going to tell stories from my past and fun experiences I had, fun memories, days where I just got really depressed and what happened that day and why I felt depressed. And I'm going to start off every podcast with talking about my day today and saying what I did that day, how I felt the day before, how I felt that day. And then I'm just going to tell a really good story, a little memory. So that's pretty much the whole point between these podcasts. Now, this won't be my normal setup. I actually have an extra iPhone. I'm using my phone right now because I've been putting this off for weeks. I'm basically using another iPhone that my friend Andrew gave to me. I have a tripod for it, a microphone, a flashlight, and a lens that zooms out more so you can see everything more better. And I also have a fisheye lens. But as of right now, just for today, for this introduction video, I'm going to use my phone. Now, see, basically, I'm in my basement right now. It's pretty late. I was playing Fortnite, and I was lagging really bad, so I just got off. And I figured I might as well just record this tonight because my mom's asleep right now. And I guess, so yeah, my setup will mostly be, I'm going to record these normally in my car from now on. But, if I have an opportunity to record something like this, I remember last night I even tried to do this video and I did a bad job. So I'm redoing it. And that's another thing, guys. So when I do these podcasts, I'm going to get better. My setup's eventually going to be better. It's just kind of a test run for the first few episodes until I get it down. I get my stories down and everything. I haven't really written anything down because I kind of want to I want it all to be raw footage. I want it to be off of my head and what I remember. I mean, in my phone, I'm going to put down certain parts of stories so I remember the whole story. And I'll say oh, episode 3, I'm going to talk about this story. And then I'm going to tell the story. So I guess I'll mostly talk about what I did today, just start off the episode. Actually, let me get in from this whole day. So I guess early in the morning, around 7:30, that was when I finally went to sleep in the morning. The day before, I slept till 4 in the afternoon. I went to bed really late, and I slept a full 12 hours. So last night I wasn't really tired. And I was trying to go to bed by at least 6 o'clock because I just needed to get sleep, and I could not sleep. I got in bed at 2 o'clock, and I ended up just I don't know, I couldn't sleep. My ex-girlfriend was texting me, and that was 5:30 in the morning, and I've just been awake. I was awake before that, and it just made me more awake. And I was even listening to music. Normally when I can fall asleep to music really easily, but I couldn't really fall asleep. I don't know why. I guess it has to do with sleeping 12 hours a day before. So yeah, basically I had to go to work today at 8:30 I work for my dad, and I also work for my aunt and myself because me and my aunt bought a house together at the age of 19. So that was a big accomplishment for me recently, which I'm really proud of. So yeah, I had to work at 8:30, and I woke up. It was I went to bed at 7:30 in the morning, and then I woke up at 8:10, and of course I was fucking exhausted. So I texted my dad because sometimes my dad will tell me be here at 8 or be here at 8:30, be here at 9, and then he'll be like, hey, actually just show up at 9:30 or 10. Actually, it doesn't really say 10. Mostly it ranges between 8 and 9:30. So I texted him at 8:20. I was like, are we working at 9 or 8:30? And I figured because sometimes he has those days where he sleeps in a little bit later, or he doesn't feel good before bed. And he texted me back saying 9 o'clock at 8:37 or something, and I was asleep. So just to be safe, I set an alarm for 8:50. I wake up and he said 9 o'clock. So I called him really quick just to make sure, and he didn't answer. So then I fell back asleep. I wake back up at 9:10. I actually overslept a little bit longer, and I kept snoozing my alarms. And he called me at 9 o'clock, and I already fell back asleep. So I woke back up at 9:10. I called him, he didn't answer. He was in the customer's house at this point. So he claims. I think he was just still sleeping. And then I woke up at a total time of 3:43 in the afternoon. And my friend Brooke actually asked me, she said, hey, do you want to hang out? What are you doing? And my friend Joe said the same thing. And I didn't have plans at the time, but Brooke asked me to hang out before him, so I hung out with her. And we went to a park, and I hung out with another girl, Shelby, who she's friends with, who she went to my high school, I think freshman year, then moved to South Carolina. And they were walking their dogs, so I just tagged along with them. And then I had to run a few errands for my dad and go by the bank, and they had to run a few errands too. They had to go to Walmart and get makeup or something. And I think Brooke had to get cookies she ordered from some it was Girl Scout cookies, something she ordered from some mom's daughter or something that she knows. So yeah, we did that. After that, I hung out with my friend Joe for a little bit, and then I went to my friend Josh's basketball game with my friend Zach. And before I get any further, guys, I'm gonna tell you this: I'm really awful with time. Like I'm being honest, and I'm awful with time because of one thing. I have an issue with like being able to like speak my mind. Like normally, okay, let me take that back. I don't normally give a single fuck about anything really, but like when someone asks me in person or like someone texts like, "Hey, you want to hang out today?" Like I already had plans made. My issue is being like, "Oh no, I can't. Like I already have plans made. Sorry." And like I'm so bad at that. There was one time I went to like an e-cig store and this girl was like, I asked her to try a flavor, and she was like, "Oh yeah," and she like hit it and didn't put like a mouthpiece on it or anything. And I'm standing literally right in front of her. She's like, "Here you go." And I didn't want to hit it because like it's disgusting. She could have herpes or anything. I was like just freaking out because I get like that. And I looked at the top of the e-cig and there was like her spit was there, and she was like looking at me waiting for me to hit it, and I didn't know what to do, so I ended up hitting it. And she's like, "Oh, you can take another one," and I hit it twice, and I was like, "This is awful. Like I could just give myself herpes." So I freaked out. I was like, "All right, we gotta go," and like we went, like me and my friend Josh were there. So we get in my car and we're leaving, and I didn't swallow my spit at all. I was so scared. I took hand sanitizer and like put it in my mouth, a little bit of water. I started like gurgling it and spit it out. And then the whole way from the store back to my house, I was like spitting in a bottle, and I never swallowed my spit. And as soon as I got back, I like brushed my teeth and used mouthwash and drank some water. And I don't have herpes, thank God. I don't think it was because of that. I just think the girl probably didn't have herpes, but I don't know. I get really freaked out. So like that's basically what I'm trying to say. Is like I have an issue with saying no. I've been putting off this podcast for like probably 2 weeks. People have been asking me to hang out. I'm like, no, I gotta do a podcast. And then I'm like, no, I can't say no, like no to them. Like I feel like a dick. So then I end up hanging out with them, and I'm just really bad with time. So yeah, back to what I was saying. I went to my friend Josh's basketball game with his brother Zach, and we went to the game. We got there kind of late. It was like halftime by the time we got there. They ended up losing. It was like their last game before it was like a playoff game, I think. It was like $6. And I ended up paying for Zach because he didn't have cash. He's like, this is what Zach said. Zach's like, "Oh, I don't have cash, so hopefully they take debit or credit." What school basketball game or football game, any event at school takes debit or credit for a freaking game? Which is kind of funny. Shout out to my man Zach. You know, he knows. He's probably gonna watch this, and he knows I'm just messing around. So yeah, we mostly just watched the game, talked to his parents a little bit, and then he said, "Hey, like on the back of the tickets that we got for the game, they had like a Subway coupon." And he said like, "Hey, do you want to go to Subway? I'll pay for you, and that'll be paying me back for the game." I was like, "Yeah, that's cool." So we went to Subway. And then after that, we had to go to Walmart so he could get something. I can't remember what the hell he got. Oh, he had to get condoms. That's what it was. It was kind of funny because I never like he was like saying how it's like weird to get condoms with somebody, and I kind of like agreed. I mean it's okay for with a girl, but like with a dude it's kind of weird. But I guess if you're like bros, it's like understandable. So yeah, we did that. Then he left and went back to school. He goes to college, and I went to hang out with my friend Joe, and we went to the gym for a little bit, and then yeah, after the gym I took him home, and I've been playing Fortnite, and then now I'm here and I'm recording my podcast. Yeah, overall throughout the whole day, I had like a good day. My issue was I kind of like early in the morning, like I was just saying around like 2 in the morning. I don't know, like the whole day I was even telling my mom, I'm like, I haven't really been like so depressed. Like I've been feeling like really happy and like really good. And then before bed, I don't know why, I just got like really depressed, and that was why I think I couldn't sleep. I also had a headache, and like my stomach was sick because I was just so like anxious and like so upset. And that's the thing, guys. Like I've been depressed since like 7th grade, since my parents ever got divorced. And I mean, there's days where like I have like good days, and then as soon as I go to bed, I'm by myself like late at night. I just get really depressed. So that was mostly what I did today. I think today I'm gonna start off telling you guys a pretty good story. This is a story of when I was dealing. I think I started selling weed like my junior year of high school and like into my senior year. So this is gonna be the story of when I ordered edibles off like the deep web. I don't know if I can talk about that, but I'm going to talk about it. Because actually, technically, I didn't order them. My friend ordered them for me because I didn't know how. And then when we got the edibles, he asked me, he's like, "Hey, man, since I'm getting these for you." And he charged me like $20 extra. I bought a McDonald's that day. And he was like, "When you get the edibles, just give me one." And I only got 4. And it was like probably $10 a piece for each edible. So I ended up paying like $60 total. And I knew he was ripping me off. He does that for everybody. So, yeah, keep in mind, I bought him McDonald's. And I gave him 20 extra bucks, and he like ordered, I think he ordered acid, and like I paid for it because he clearly asked for like more money. And I mean, there was an agreement because he was helping me out. I don't know how to do that shit myself. Like that shit's confusing, and it's really scary. So yeah, I ordered the edibles. A few days passed. They come in, and they were Rice Krispie treats. They came in like a little tiny box, and they were wrapped in I think like blue foil or something, and they were actually pretty good. But they like as soon as you open the foil, you can literally smell like the fucking weed, and like they taste pretty good. But you could also taste like a hint of like skunk. It was kind of nasty. So yeah, it was this one day I ate them, and I had half of one, and I actually ran into him, the kid who helped me order them. I ran into him at the gas. His name's Tyler. I ran into him at the gas station. He was like, "Yo, you got the edible for me?" I was like, "Yeah, it's at my house. Let me like go make this deal, and then I'll give it to you." And then yeah, he never got that shit. I was not giving him a fucking edible for that. Like he already got 20 extra bucks, McDonald's and acid that I paid for. So anyways, I was with my friends Scott and Riley, and I had to go make a deal. And this was after I ate half the edible. They were like, "Hey, do you want to go to this party at Leganor, or in a different county than me?" I used to go to that school, so I knew a lot of people from there. And I heard about the party. I was like, "Yeah, we can go." And at the time, my friend Scott also sold, and my friend Chris did. So I was like, you know what? Let me make this deal. I'll go to the party with you guys. I didn't have that much weed after this because I got ripped off, and I was selling for a while at this point. So I was like, let's go to the party. It's fine. And I asked Scott if I could like pick up like an ounce from him or half an ounce like for that night. And he kept telling me no, he wouldn't do it. And then I ended up getting it from someone else, and he ripped me off that day. So I was like, whatever. So, anyways, we're going to go make this deal. I had half the Rice Krispie treat. It was like the first like day that I actually got them. I had like half of one, and she was like, "You better not rip me off." And normally I would never rip anybody off. I never really jip people at all. I mean, you can ask anybody I was friends with, anybody that I sold to. I never jip people. Well, I got ripped off, and I thought I had more bud, but I didn't. And I go to this girl's house, and she was like, or no, I got them pre-bagged. Yeah, I bought them pre-bagged. Like I bought like pre-bagged like grams and like half grams or like tracks, and it was all together. I bought like an ounce from this kid Noah, and so we go to the girl at Nicey's house that I had to make a deal to, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna scale this out," and I was high as fuck. My friend Scott was like in the back, and my friend Ryan was next to me, and I was like, "All right, yeah, that's fine." And I gave her the bag, and I knew it was short. I just felt I didn't know what to do because like I'm not gonna tell her it's short, and then like she'd be like, "Oh, what the hell?" Like all this stuff. So it was so dumb. I should have at least said something. So she gives me like $30 for like a gram and a half, and I think I gave her like literally .7 or something. And she left, and I was just like, as soon as she walked back to her house, I was laughing my ass off, and I was like, "Dude, I feel so bad. Like, I just gypped her. I didn't mean to. Like, I got gypped." And like my friend Scott and Riley were laughing. So we pull out of her house. We start going back home, and she texts me. She's like, "You gypped me. It's only like .7. Like, you owe me like, what was it, like .8 or some shit like that, or like, is it .8? What the hell is it? Yeah, it's .8. I was right. Damn, good shit." So yeah, she's like, "You owe me .8," and I was like, "Hey, I'm going to a party. And I'm going to Ocean City to go to like junior week." And it was like my friend Andrew and Joe were at like Ocean City, so I was like, "Yeah, I'll go up with you guys and I'll hang out with them." So like I was gonna go to the party and the next day go. So that's pretty much what I did. So like we're leaving our house, and I was like, "Yeah, like I'm going to this party and I'm going to Ocean City. I'll get you when I get back." So me, Scott, and Riley ended up hanging out for a little bit longer. I went like by the bank, put some money in the bank. I hit a few more deals, and then we all met up later that night and we went to the party. And it was like me, Chris, Scott, and Riley. And I still barely had like any bud, but I already sold most of my bud. So I asked my friend Scott to sell me some, and he wouldn't sell me some at all. So we get to this party, and like it's like at this like nice ass like townhouse. I think I don't really know. It looked like a townhouse, but it was like also like a house. I don't even know how to explain it. It was like think of like an oversized townhouse, and like instead of it like being like two townhouses, it was like one, and then there was like a little one. Like it was like this was like the biggest one. There was like little ones next to it. So we go there, and I saw a couple people that I knew like walking in. And it was a pretty nice party. There was a lot of people there. Like music was playing. Like a bunch of my friends were there that I used to go to school with, and I was with my friends from school now. So we go to the party. Everybody's drinking and stuff, and like we were just smoking and stuff. And like I remember the first big thing I did when we got to this party, I went to the garage because I wanted to smoke really bad, and I figured we could just smoke in the garage. And there was a kid in there. He was smoking this bowl, and he was this ugly ass. I mean, I'm pretty ugly myself. I'm not really judgmental, but like this was an ugly dude. And I was like, "Yo, can I hit your bowl?" I was like, I'll match you." He was like, "Yeah." So I took his bowl, and he was like walking in the house, like getting ready to hit it. And I was like, "Let me see it real quick." He's like, "Okay." So he gave it to me, and I had my friend Scott. It's like this big old guy. He played football at college and in high school. He's like a big built dude, and he blocked the door. I told him to block the door. So he was blocking the door, and I was just like killing this kid's bowl. It's pretty fucked up, but I mean now I look back on it, I think it's funny. And Scott was like blocking the door, and Scott ate 14 little muffins, like probably like this big, like. What are those little muffins you get? They're like blueberry or chocolate chip. I think they're called like little bites or some shit. I can't remember, but they were like the size of that. They were like this, and they kind of look like cornbread, but like just little muffins. And he had like 14 of them. He had this friend who they call Fifi. She like made them. Or I think they call her Fifi. I never met the bitch, but like or my bitch, she's not a bitch, I've just never met her. And yeah, so he had like 14 of them, and like it was like by the time that he was like blocking the door, by the time we got there, he was like already like high as fuck. And so he's blocking the doorway, and I'm like killing this kid's bowl, and then Scott's like, "Let me get a hit." He's like, and the guy was like, "Yo, he has my bowl. Let me get in the garage." Like, "Yeah, hold on, I'm really high." That's like all Scott was saying to him, and the kid was getting pissed. So I gave Scott the bowl, and Scott like took a hit really quick and like gave it back. It was so beat. So we're in the garage, and there's like a bunch of kids in there too, and there's like a whole bunch of chairs set up, like kind of like this, like you would think like chairs all around, and then right in the middle was like this big ass tub. And if you ever seen those like, you know when you go like an office for work or something, and they have a little thing, it's like hot and cold, and you like press water down like those little cups, and it's this big ass blue gallon on top. It's like upside down. They had one of those in the garage of the tub, and they were trying to hit Jeeps out of it. And I'm like, "Oh, y'all want to hit a Jeep?" But we couldn't find the top for it, and like the water was like brown, it had leaves in it, like it was nasty. So Riley ended up like going upstairs with Chris, and they were like listening to music, talking to people, and me and Scott stayed in the garage. And all of a sudden, there was this rapper who they call Amph, like around like Maryland and where I live, and he comes in the garage with like 4 dudes, and they like are standing right in front of us, and like me and Scott, I think we were smoking a blunt, or we were just, I think it was either a blunt or a bowl, or we were just smoking regardless, but we're like in the corner of the garage like by ourselves, like no one else in the garage at this point except for the Amph guy and like these 3 big dudes like a suit. And they opened up this like suitcase. It was like gray at the time. I think it was gray. I don't know. I was really high, and I know like I had the edible and I smoked a bunch. I know Scott probably remembers this better than I can. So one day in the future, I'll have him on the podcast. He can tell his side of the story. So yeah, they opened up this like suitcase or briefcase or whatever, and it fucking had like guns in it, and like, it had like a pistol in it, and like coke, and like money, and a bunch of weed, and like all this stuff. And he was like, yeah, that's cool. And like they were like talking to each other, and like me and Scott were just like, yo, we need to get the fuck out of here. Like we were scared. So we're like slowly like creeping back by like the door, like walking really slow. And then we got out of the garage, and there was a kid in the basement named Devin that I know. He has like long hair. He's like this goofy little kid. Wait, is it Devin? I think it's Devin. I don't remember how those kids I used to go to school with, but I know the kid's face. I think it is Devin. So he was like getting head from some girl on the couch in the basement. He was like, "Everybody go upstairs. I'm trying to get a nut." And I found this closet, like a back room, like a storage down there, and I was with like Scott, and I was with Scott and Riley. Riley came down to come find us, and we were like hiding because we were freaked out from the Amph guy. And we were like, "Dude, what do we do? What do we do?" Like that was so scary. And I found a whole bag of paintballs, and like there was a bag of like Tostitos chips down there, and like chocolate chips. It was like a storage room. They had like a bunch of like food and shit. So I take the paintballs, and I just start chucking them on the wall, and like splat. And like that's another thing, guys. In high school, I really like to party and hang out with people. Like you guys will find out. And my group of friends sometimes would call me like a roach because I would go to people's house and just fuck up their house. Like it's kind of a dick thing to do, and like I look back and I'm like, wow, I was a dick for that. But I mean, it's kind of funny at the time. It's just like memories. Like, everybody fucks around. Like people do shit. Like all of us have our own experiences. So yeah, I take these like paintball balls and I'm like chucking them at the wall, and they're splattering. Like me, Riley, and Scott are geeking, and the kid Devin's in the corner. So I was taking like beer cans that were on the ground. I was like peeking out and just chucking them at him real quick. He's like, "Dude, stop! I'm trying to get hit. I'm gonna beat your ass." And I was taking paintballs, like splatting them right by him and stuff. I couldn't see anything because they were like, it was like the staircase. You come down the stairs. There was like a little wall, and like around them, like way back in the corner, was like the couch where they were doing stuff. And like Scott and Riley were laughing. So we go upstairs, and I have this like bag of Tostitos chips and like the chocolate chips. I put them all in the same bag and like crushed them up, and I just started throwing the bag everywhere like that, and like chips were just flying everywhere, and like people were like, "Let me get some," and I would like dump the whole bag in their face. They'd be like, and like chips would be flowing, and it was really funny. And we go in the kitchen, and like the guy Amph was upstairs at this point, and he was like sitting on the counter on the sink like this, and like had a lot of money. He was like flexing, and like people were like, "Yo, it's Amph," and all the girls were like freaking out. I've never really listened to his music. I think I've seen like one music video. I wouldn't say he's bad, but like he's not the it's not just not, it's like it's not like the type of music that I would listen to. I listen to like sad music or like dark like depressing rap music, like Lil Peep, XXX, Nothing Nowhere, Lil Lotus, like Cold Heart, Brendan Savage. Like I listen to like sad shit, and like I'll be honest, like yeah, I have depression, and I don't think that the sad music really like impacts that so much. I mean, like my friend Ryan's always like, "Dude, I don't know how you listen to that music all the time. Like that makes me sad." And I'll admit the only artist that's like that is either like Suicide Boys, like that. Like I guess those guys, like I don't know why I'm talking like I've never listened to them before. Like Scrim and Ruby, like just their music like really does get me depressed after a while. But so yeah, we're in the kitchen, and he's on the counter with all his money, flexing it, and like chilling, like jeans and like a white fucking wife beater. And I'm like, dude, really? Like you're at a fucking high school party, and what are you, like 20 something? So yeah, we're like sitting there, and all of a sudden I'm like, dude, I need to request a song. Like I want to play some like good ass music because I don't listen to the shit people listen to. Like they were playing like fucking like Miley Cyrus, like Party in the USA, and like I like Lil Wayne, but like not as much as I do now. I liked him at the time, but I don't listen to that shit anymore. And like I hate like upbeat music that's like fucking like LMFAO, like party rock or whatever, like shots, like Lil Jon. Like I don't fuck with that shit. I used to when I was younger, but like not now. And so I go up to my friend Ben, who like he's on my aux. I'm like, hey Ben, can you play this song called like it was Trees of the Valley by Night Lavelle. And if you guys don't know what that is, you guys check it out. It's a really good song. And Scott was like, nah, dude, tell him to play like Dear to Centre. It was like, that's another song he has. I was like, no, I'm feeling Trees of the Valley. So like I told him, or no, I think it was Dark Light. No, it was Trees of the Valley. So he starts playing Trees of the Valley, and like 10 minutes, or like not even 10 minutes, like 10 seconds into the song, he changes it. And Scott was like, I told you you should have played Dear to Centre, dude. Like, what the hell? And then I was like, yeah, I know, my bad. So apparently, I think after that, like no one listened to the song anymore. They changed it, and they were playing something else, and like the cops were coming. People said, and people were like saying like it was because of Anf. So like the dude Anf was like, no man, fuck the ops, fuck 12. I ain't worried about nothing. They can't do shit. I'm like, dude, shut up. Like you're at a high school party, bro. Like you're old as fuck. So he's not really that old, but like I guess at the time for me, I thought he was older. And so yeah, we ended up like, getting in my car, leaving, and I had to drive back like. I think Scott drove himself too. Actually, now I think about it. Yeah, Scott drove himself, and I drove with Riley. So I had to drive a few girls back, and one of them was my friend Joe's girlfriend at the time. And like my car was like cramped. There was like 5 girls in the back of this Charger, and like 2 girls in the fucking passenger seat, like sitting on top of each other like this. And I was just driving. I drove everybody home. I had like no gas. I had to get gas before I dropped everybody off. And then I'm getting ready to go home, and my friend Grayson was like, hey, you want to hang out? My friend Eli and like Andrew were still awake too, and they were asking me to smoke that day. And I ended up getting weed from my friend like Chris at the time for like really cheap. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I got some extra weed. Like I did a few deals after I dropped everybody off, and then I'll hang out with you, Grayson. I'll hang out with you, Eli and Andrew. We were all like a group chat. We were Snapchatting or something. So I picked all of them up. We go and we smoke like under my dad's deck, and it was like he was passed out. He like didn't even know. And we like smoked under his deck, and I ate like the other half of the edible that I had at this time. I think I ate a whole one. And so like we were all high as hell, and like we were just hanging out, and like we went and got food. And then I was like driving, and like we were like, yo, let's go to the gas station or something to get like chips or something, because we're gonna hang out like at I think Grayson's basement, because he like snuck out. So I started driving on like on my road, like, or I'm outside of my road on like this like main road, like outside my neighborhood. And I'm driving, and like I was absolutely fried. And this is why I was scared to order edibles ever again, like or like I would never order anything off the deep web anymore after this, because like to this day I still think that like the edibles I got were laced, but also then again I don't. So I'm driving down the road, like listening to music, and I swear it was like everything went in like slow motion. I was driving, I just turned left at the light, and there was like no one on the road. It's so late. It's like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. And it was like a Great Dane that like literally jumped across the street in front of me, and like my car like shook, and I slammed on my brakes. I got freaked out. My friend Grayson was next to me, Eli and Andrew were in the back, and I was like, what the fuck? And I swear to God, like the dog literally turned and like looked at me, and like his teeth were out, and he was like growling, like he like barked at me, and like his head was like like that. And that was really lame, but that's basically that's like what the dog did. And like I looked, and the dog just like bolted into the left of like the other side of the road, like to the left of me, and it was like looking right at me, like the left front of my car, like behind my mirror. And I was like, what the hell? And then it just took off. And I was like, did anybody see that? And Grayson was like, dude, did you see that? Was that a dog? And Grayson was like, dude, that was definitely a dog. Like, you almost hit it. That was crazy. Like, it came out of nowhere. And Eli and Andrew were like, what are you talking about? There's no dog. So, like, I thought I was tripping maybe. And I thought maybe, like, the edibles were laced. And then I thought to myself, like, if Grayson just smoked and he saw the same thing, it probably wasn't laced. I was just, like, really high and, like, overthinking and freaking out. So, yeah, we were, like, freaking out. We're like, there's no way that happened. We went to the gas station. We ended up going, like, back to McDonald's and getting more food, I think. Because we went before that already, like, after we smoked. And actually, no, I think after we smoked, we just drove around, and then later on, yeah, we went to get food, and that was when this whole situation happened. So yeah, oh sorry, I have a bad habit chewing my fingernails. So yeah, we ended up going to McDonald's, and we were like eating food. Like, dude, you guys not like? I still can't believe like that was crazy. They're like, yeah, dude, I saw that. And Grayson was like, yeah, dude, I saw that. And Eli and Andrew were like, no, dude, you guys are tripping. Like, there was nothing there. And I was like, I don't know, there was definitely something there. And then yeah, I dropped everybody off after we ate, and I think I stayed up to like 6 that day, and I like went back to bed, or I went to sleep at like 6. I dropped everybody off, and by the time I dropped everybody off, it was like 4:15, and then I went back to my house, and I was just like laying in my bed on my phone for a while, and I passed out at like 6 in the morning. So yeah, that was like my first experience ever like with edibles from the deep web. And it was just a story from when I was dealing. And if you guys like that story and you guys like stuff like this, please drop a like on this video. I'm not the type of guy to like self-advertise. But this is like a test run. This is just my introduction, and this is basically how my podcasts are going to go from now on. This isn't really episode. I'm not going to call this episode 1. More of like an introduction to show what I'm going to do. And yeah, as I was saying, guys, I'm going to call this series like my mom can't find out, because I don't want my mom to find out. And eventually, if she does find out, then then I'll tell more stories still. And I can't get in trouble. These are all from the past. Like, I don't do that stuff now. And so yeah, that's why I want to call it my mom can't find out. And if she does, then I'll make a whole new series like my mom found out. And when I make those podcasts, I'll ask her like how she feels about this story. I can even have her on the podcast, and I'll have her tell me like her opinion on the story, like her opinion on this like experience, and like her opinion on me, and like what she would have done if she found out, and like how upset she would have been, which is kind of messed up. But I think it's something I'll definitely do in like the future. I'm mostly gonna try and keep these not too long and not too short. I think like around 30 minutes is like a good mark, just to start off with. And eventually, when I have more guests on here, clearly we're gonna talk for like hours, or not hours, but I want to try and keep it at least like an hour to like 2 hours max, because I know me personally, like I'll listen to these when I'm driving. Like I listen to No Jumper all the time and HCH3, and I'll listen to these like when I'm driving in the car, like a long road trip, like or I'll listen to music mostly. But I'm gonna upload these to YouTube and to SoundCloud. And this is really my plan. I'm just gonna talk about, like I said in the beginning of the video, I'm gonna talk about stories from like my past and like my experiences with drugs and everything. And I guess next episode I'm gonna finish telling you guys what happened after that day when I woke up the next day at 6 in the morning. Yeah, that's when I went to junior week. As I was telling that one girl that I gypped on accident, I told her, well, I guess it wasn't really an accident, but it kind of was. But yeah, how I told her I was going to the beach. I want to tell that story next. It's a pretty interesting story, and it was with my friends Joe and Andrew. So yeah, I'm gonna say that for episode 2, I guess episode 1 for sure. So yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed today's episode, or today's introduction to the podcast, and thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. And if you guys like this video, please drop a like, subscribe, give me some feedback, comment. If you want, tell your friends. Just don't tell my mom. All right, well, see you guys. Have a nice day.